Libby Physical Therapist.
And I'm Kelly Breedeveld, Physical Therapist. We're here today at Canyon Physical Therapy and Aquatic Rehabilitation to introduce some new exercises to the Elevate video series. We want to build off our previous video of lumbar spine stability and mobility exercises to start functional strengthening. The techniques from these previous exercises we want to utilize now in a standing position to start the functional strengthening process.
The exercises we're going to look at today are three of our favorites because they use larger muscle groups to strengthen the core while moving your arms and legs, which is similar to what you would do in daily life. These exercises are just a sample of what you could do, and there are many more to choose from. These are just happen to be our favorite. Now keep in mind we're going to some higher level activities and we want to keep them pain-free. So if you do have any pain, please consult your physical therapist before continuing. Our first exercise we're going to look at is a squat hold with an isometric overhead pull. So to do this exercise, we're going to be using a TheraBand, which you can find at any of your local sporting goods stores or at your gym. We're using green, but you can start with a light resistance to begin working on technique and then progress from there to challenge your strength. With this exercise, you're going to loop that band behind your knees, bring your feet out to about shoulder width, and then cross the band so that you're creating an X. Then you're going to sit back into a squat. Once you're in your squat, you're raising the arms up and you'll notice you're getting resistance here at the knee. And then by holding the band here out with your hands, you're creating tension across your core or your abdominals, shoulders, and hips. With this exercise, the key points to focus on is that you're keeping your head in neutral, holding those arms out about forehead or eye level, and then sitting back in a good squat. I'm going to have Kelly show you from the side. To get that good squat position, you want to sit your hips back, keeping your knees behind the toes, and you're pushing out a little bit on that band to prevent the knees from dropping in. The whole point of this is to challenge your core, so you want to make sure you're maintaining a nice flat back, keeping that head in neutral. You can start to lower those arms down if you're starting to lose your back or you're rounding through your back. And then of course you can bring them back up. The benefits to this exercise come from recruiting those core muscles, which takes time. So a longer hold is going to be more beneficial than doing many, many reps. So we recommend starting with a 5 to 10 second hold, and you can progress from there up to 30 to even 60 seconds. But then you would do lower reps, starting at 1 rep, see how it feels. You do anywhere from 5 to 10 reps, as long as you're maintaining good technique.
All right, the next exercise we're going to introduce is what we call step outs. I'm going to have Libby give me a hand with this. With this exercise, you can use a TheraBand, or you can use, if you're at a gym, a cable column type system. You want to have a little bit more room for this exercise because we're going to be doing a lateral stepping motion. Again, this exercise is going to focus on core strengthening with a little bit more of a dynamic progression. So with this exercise, I'm going to have Libby go into a little bit of about an 8 squat. So she's sitting her bottom back, activating her abdominals as well as her glutes, and she's going to take a step sideways, and she's going to go out 3 steps, and then she's going to return. As she does this motion, she wants to keep her core nice and tight the entire time, keeping those muscles engaged and preventing the resistance from wanting to cause her to rotate. As Libby feels more comfortable with this exercise, she can make it more difficult by bringing her arms further out in front of her. The further she brings her arms out, the longer that lever arm, creating more of a torque or more of a rotation on her trunk that she has to stabilize against. With this exercise, we're going to do 3 steps out, 3 steps back. We would typically call that 1 repetition, and we can do anywhere from 5 to 10 repetitions. We also want to make sure we're focusing on good squat technique, so always keeping a nice flat back and keeping a hip hinged position will help to maintain a nice stable core with this movement. The last exercise we want to introduce is what we call a reverse chop. This exercise now takes from the previous 2 exercises and adds rotation. So again, we're still focusing on all the same muscle groups, but now we're going to add rotation into strengthening the back. It's going to help pick up some of the oblique and transverse muscles of the core. So with this exercise, I'm going to have Libby take a little bit wider stance. We're going to start with the TheraBand anchored low, and she's going to take and rotate towards the anchor point, and then pull up and away in a swinging fashion, rotating the opposite direction. This exercise we want to try to do 10 to 15 repetitions, And again, this can be done with a cable machine or TheraBand, depending on what your setting allows for. As she gets more comfortable with this exercise, she can start going through a greater excursion with her rotations, shifting her weight from her start foot to her finishing foot, and getting a greater range of motion involved in that core strengthening. We hope the lumbar spine stability exercises we introduced today help you to elevate your functional strength.